Hey everyone, welcome to Start Your Day Great. Start Your Day with the Coach. I am your host, Certified High Performance Coach Sean Butner. And today in the morning show, we're going to do something a little bit differently. I just want to tell a few stories about my Uncle Jim, who passed away in January from COVID after a short fight from like Christmas on. And so, first off, this is my experience. I'm not interested in arguing anything about the vaccines, about mandates. I have opinions on that, like everyone does, but it's not. That's not what's important here. You know, it's important to tell stories that maybe aren't being heard quite so often. And so I'll tell you a little bit about my Uncle Jim. I'll tell you his memorial was this past weekend. It's been on my mind. And you know, just kind of a reminder to reach out to the people in your family that you love, to people that have inspired you along the way, to people that are close to you and around you. I wasn't super tight with my Uncle Jim. You know, he's my mom's oldest brother. He lived in another state, was always working, always busy. He was a war vet from Afghanistan in the 80s with the Russians. And there's some funny family stories about that. But, you know, the thing about Uncle Jim was he had a really contagious laugh. He's always, you know, really loud laugh. He was always busting on people, always picking on people, always just trying to get under their skin in a lovingly kind of way. Yeah, he's probably one of the reasons why I got initially interested in computers. I know he worked on them in the military. His business working on like inkjets, printers for commercial stuff. Going over to his house and seeing schematics and all the like gear and stuff was always a fun thing. And stuff I remember growing up. Or like driving in the back of his car growing up and seeing all these little electronic pieces, fuses and stuff like that. Don't know why they were all in his car, but they were. Probably because of his job, they just fell out of the case or whatever. And so he served his country. Very affable, fun guy. I know my mom really looked up to him. And yeah, so that happens. 2014, my mom has a heart thing. You know, we go and I fly back to Chicago. I was living in California at the time, and the whole family's gathered at the hospital. And Uncle Jim comes in and jokes, and then that day he has a series of strokes, and so that starts his long period of being knocked out of work, out of the guy worked all the time, so I'm sure that was not easy for him to go into having to not go to work, essentially. So he was kind of disabled after that a little bit, but still pretty jovial. Which brings us to last year with COVID, right? So I live in Wisconsin. My aunt took all of her sick days, took all of her vacation, to not go back to school because she's a teacher, I think. She does something with the school. And so, within a week, she got caught. She was diagnosed with COVID, passed it to everyone in the family there, my cousins and my uncle. And so he was feeling sick about, I think, Thanksgiving last year, Christmas. He was in the hospital in a coma, and then on New Year's Day, or shortly after New Year's Day, he passed away. So it's frustrating. Part of the reason why I'm doing this, I'm thinking about my uncle. Part of it, I see stuff from friends and family on social media that discount common sense, things that don't cost a lot, that can protect people, that can prevent this type of situation where A mask mandate might have prevented my aunt from getting sick or spreading it to the rest of her family. My uncle, who was at risk catching it and then passing away from this terrible disease. That gets under my skin, quite honestly. Like I said, I'm not here to say that's the way it should be. Everyone has their personal choice with vaccines and all that stuff. But you have to stop and think, how are we taking care of our communities? How are we taking care of each other? And why would we handicap ourselves with something that we know prevents really sick disease and things that are basic protections that can help us live back into a greater world, And I don't have an answer for that. I'm sure I'm not here to convince you one way or the other. You've probably, if you're watching this, have already made up your mind because that's the world we live in. And that's okay. I'm not here, it's frustrating that we can't do the common sense and governance things or the things that'll help us get out of this, in my opinion, a lot quicker. But that's the state of the world. So what can we do? I choose to remember my Uncle Jim for how he influenced me over the years, how just jovial he was, and just overall, think of the future and think of the people that are still with me. And so I hope you're thinking of the people that are still with you. I hope you're reaching out. I hope you're connecting it. Another thing about my uncle was he always kind of did things his own way. I remember him talking about his business and all these deals and all the crazy things, kind of audacious things he would do to make the business work. And it was just such his character. But he was choosing his own path. He was making and forging his own destiny. And I think that's another thing to think of as we're moving forward, as the world continues, that, we should be choosing how we want to live. We should be choosing things now that bring us life and levity and laughter and inspiration and go for it, because that's part of what he did. So, this seems a little bit extra rambly today. It is, just kind of wanted to talk from the heart on this. Because it's sad. It's a story, again, where this probably could have been prevented had people taken a step back and approached it with a little bit more cool logic. But that's neither here nor there. So if there's one thing that I'm trying to say is go out, make your life happen like my uncle did. Go out, and as you make your life happen, make sure you're connecting with the people that really mean something to you. So family, friends, coworkers, we spend so much time with those guys. Part of being a coach is taking these times to slow down and kind of process, and I'm still kind of processing all of what happened this past year and, with my uncle this past weekend. So, yeah. Tell someone that you love them. Go and live the life you deserve with your full potential, because we're all capable of doing that. So, that said, guys, that's my experience with this weird COVID stuff. I hope you're all safe still. I hope you get your vaccine if that's your choice. I hope you're making it happen. And of course, if you need help, you can go to SeanButler.com to get signed up for a strategy session. I'd love to help you out with that. Okay, that's it, guys. Hope you're all well, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.